Hey sweet friends. Alright, we are cooking up a little spread tonight. So let me tell you what we have going here, or what we're fixing to have going. So back here, I'm going to get right into it because I don't want to run this video too long, and I got several things I want to show y'all, okay? So back here in this pot here, we are going to steam up or cook some rice because I am wanting to make a broccoli and cheese rice casserole. And I was thinking about it and I thought, didn't I just make a broccoli casserole? But the other one that I did back, I think it was in July, it was a broccoli, cheese, chicken, and noodle casserole. This one is just going to be the broccoli, the cheese, and the rice. Now let me tell you about the rice, okay? I've got the water going for it, and once it comes to a boil, we're going to put it in there. Alright, y'all know I've always been a huge fan of the jasmine rice, okay? I had heard a few cooks back months and months ago talk about the basmati rice. I know this is backwards, but I'm holding it up here, and I will put this in the comments and pin it so you can see exactly what it is, okay? This basmati rice, okay? I was at Walmart a couple weeks ago, and I went to get my jasmine rice. I've got a little something flying around right here in front of me. They come to this light whenever I turn it on. Anyway, and I seen this basmati rice sitting right beside the jasmine, and I thought, oh, that is what I seen some of the other cooks cooking with. So I looked at it, I noticed the calories were almost half to what the jasmine was, which still it wasn't really what I was looking for, but I just thought, okay, you know, I'm going to try it. And y'all, I cooked some of it back a little ways back, and let me tell you what, if you have never tried this rice, you will love it. You will never go back to any of the other rice. I don't even know how to explain it, but I had to kind of study on it a little bit about how to cook it because I had never cooked it. It expands lengthwise, but not width. Okay, so because you know how rice always expands a lot, but this one doesn't expand that much. Just the length is really all that it is, and it is so fluffy and light. Like, I love the jasmine rice and it feels light to me, but it is a lot more dense than this rice. Like, it feels like this rice has no liquid in it whatsoever. It is just so light. I am telling you, I am asking you, please try this rice if you've never tried it. Like I said, this is just the Walmart brand basmati rice, and let me know if you love this rice. Like I said, I know this has been out forever. I've just never tried it. So you let me know if you love this rice, because I don't know how anybody that likes rice could not like this. It is delicious, okay? So anyway, we're using that for our broccoli casserole, and then I am going to do, you know, I need to pull my hair up. You remember we did the smothered fried chicken that I told you that I seen Miss Brenda make, and I loved it. Well, I have decided I want to do the same method, but I'm going to use some pork chops, okay? So I have them seasoned up here. We got to batter them up. I have my flour and everything ready to go. But first, I just wanted to get this casserole mixed up. We probably won't put it in the oven yet, but I just wanted to kind of get that done so I could show you exactly how I'm doing it, and get it put away. And then we're going to fry up these pork chops, okay? So that's what we're doing. Smother fried pork chops, a broccoli, cheese, rice, casserole, and some macaroni and cheese. I know, double carbs, but I had the pasta that I had cooked yesterday for something else. I ended up not making it, and I thought, whenever I decided to make this, I thought, okay, I can use that pasta and make some macaroni and cheese. So anyway, we're breaking the rules, but that's what we do sometimes, right? Our kitchen, our rules. Alright, so right here I have 1 cup of the basmati rice that I have soaked for a little bit and rinsed off. I'll tell you about that in just a second. So y'all know, for all of my rice, I always rinse it off. And that's a personal preference. Let me get you down here so you can see while I'm talking. But what I read about this particular rice, it said to soak it for a little bit. So I let it just soak in some cold water for about 30 minutes or so, and then I just rinsed it really, really good. So I don't know that you have to do the soaking method. I just did, but I do recommend you rinsing it, okay? But still, that's totally up to you. All right, and then let me tell you about the liquid and all of that I used. It says on the package to do a 1-2 ratio, like 1 cup of rice, 2 cups of water. Y'all know I always like to do a little bit less, and especially when we're putting it in a dish and putting it in the oven like we're going to, because it's going to cook a little bit longer. So in this pot here, before I put the rice in, I did 1.5 cups of water, 1 little tablespoon of butter, and about a good little teaspoonful of chicken broth bouillon, or not chicken bouillon. Okay, don't let me get mixed up. You could also just use some chicken broth if you wanted to, but y'all know I used the powder, so I did about 1 teaspoon of that, 1.5 cups of water, 1 tablespoon of butter, 1 cup of rinsed basmati rice, okay? And so I've got that in there, and what I am going to do is, it's boiling. I like to bring the water to a boil, then add it in, and I'm going to turn it down on low, and I'm going to let this boil for maybe, ooh, that steam hit my hand, for maybe about 12 minutes or so, and then I'm just going to cut it off and let it sit. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to stir it or anything while it is cooking, okay? So I'm just going to let that do that, and then so while that's just hanging out, we are going, let me turn my timer on. Hang on a second, I'll be right back, y'all. Okay, so I just turned my timer on 10 minutes. But anyway, we'll just, like I said, I think I want to let it cook for maybe about 12, but we'll just kind of keep a check on it, okay? And now here in this pot, I have just a little bit of water, and I'm talking about just a smidge because we're using frozen broccoli. So as you can see, I mean, it's not even maybe a cup or so. And you know, this has already been blanched, but I like to go ahead and cook it just a little bit, if nothing else, to get that ice and everything off of it. So you can do it however you want to do. But of course, if you had fresh, which I wish I did have, but I don't, you would definitely want to steam it for just a second before you put it in there. All right. So I have one bag here. This is the florets. And then I have this other bag is just the cuts. I think I'm just going to use both of these bags, make a big casserole, and then I can eat on it for a few days. You know, it's so good, stuff like this is anyway. So I'm going to let this water come up to a boil, and I'm going to put this both bags of this frozen broccoli in there, and just basically let that ice come off, let it thaw out, and then I'm going to drain it really quick and run some cold water over it to stop the cooking process, okay? So once I get that, that's all I'm going to do real quick, and while that is going, and then after I get that drained out of here, I'm going to come back and we're going to use this pot, and we're going to make up our cheese sauce to go in for our casserole, okay? So I'll be back in a second, y'all. Hey y'all, just real quick, our timer has went off, and I'm going to go ahead, I turned the rice off, and I'm going to move it, I'm not going to raise the lid up, I'm going to move it off of that heat and just sit it over here. Now, if I were just going to be serving the rice and not putting it in a casserole, putting it in the oven, I might would just let it continue to sit on the heat, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want it to cook anymore, okay? And then here's our broccoli. I've turned it off also, but you can see it is still steaming away. So you can see it has just basically been steaming in that little bit of water. We have some big, huge pieces in there. So I'm going to drain it, rinse it off, or cool it off a little bit, and then I'm going to take my knife and cut it up in just some smaller pieces since we're making it into a casserole. And I'll be back and we'll do our cheese sauce. All right, y'all, let's get started on our cheese sauce here. Okay, what do I do with my knife? Here it is. I am going to start it with 2 tablespoons of butter. Okay, here's my little stuff that I got cut up and ready to go, and I just set some foil on it. And I'm going to dice up just a little bit of onion to go in there to start our sauce. This is optional. You don't have to do this. Just a little bit. Now that was some good frozen broccoli. You know, most of the time whenever you get the frozen, you'll just maybe get a lot of stems. You don't, I mean, but that, it was really good. And I like for it to be chunky and big, and the big flowerets like that. But of course, being in a casserole, I wanted it to be more all bite-sized pieces. So I just cut some of it down, but we still have some good pieces of broccoli in there. And I thought, well, if I just wanted that to steam it, it wouldn't have looked that good. You know, it's kind of how it goes. All right, y'all, I'm just going to let these onions cook down, let them get good and soft. And then whenever I come back, we're going to add our other stuff in. And this is just a really easy cheese sauce. You can, you know, kind of make this however you would like. I'm going to do some, of course, I'm going to use some Velveeta. You don't have to if you don't want to. I'm going to use some cream cheese, some sour cream. I know a lot of times for casseroles like this, people like to do the cream of chicken. But instead, for me, instead of doing cream of chicken, I like to do some sour cream, which is the cream part, and then I will do a little bit of chicken bouillon to give you your chicken flavor. So it's basically the same thing, just two different ingredients. Okay, I know I've told y'all that before, but for anyone that hasn't seen me do that before, that's kind of my replacement for cream of chicken. Okay, anyway, I'm just gonna let those cook, y'all, and I'll come back in a second. All right, y'all. Our onions have cooked down, and now I'm going to put in, I've got about 4 to 6 ounces of cream cheese here and about 4 to 6 ounces of Velveeta cheese. All right, you can do whatever kind of cheeses you want. Whatever works for you, whatever you like, okay? I'm going to let those melt down, and then I'm going to get out some of our sour cream. I'm thinking we're going to do about half a cup of this. Mix it up real good. It's always so watery when you first open it up. It might be about half a cup of what I have in here. Let's see. There we go. Like I said, I say about half a cup, so just eyeball it, y'all know that. Okay, I'm just gonna let this melt down, and I'll come back and we're gonna add some seasonings to it, and I think we're gonna do, like I said, a little bit of chicken broth, but I'm going to wait and see how thick it is and all of that before I go adding some liquid in it, okay? Hey y'all, while this is melting down a little bit, we're gonna go ahead and add our seasons, okay? So I'm gonna do just a smidge of our Cajun. I mean, just a sprinkle, not much at all. Onion powder, just a sprinkle. Garlic powder, just a sprinkle. Well, is there anything hardly coming out? I can't see. And a little bit of smoked paprika. I love the smoky flavor that it gives, but we don't want too much, just a little, just kind of like that. All right, and then we're going to do some pepper. And just a little bit of salt, not too much, because we're going to do, like I said, the chicken broth, and we did the Cajun, and also I like to do, y'all know I love this Italian seasoning. I'm going to do a good spoonful of this. I just think it will give all of that a great flavor. So, let's see. About like this. I'd say that's maybe like a teaspoon, maybe a teaspoon and a half or so. So, we've got that in there. And then I think I'll do a little bit of parsley. And I believe that will be it for our seasonings, except for our chicken bouillon stuff. So a little bit of parsley. Oh, this is gonna be so good. Oh man, All right. So it's just about melted down. Y'all see that? I wish you could smell it. It smells so good. All right, let me get out some water. I'm gonna mix up just a little bit of my broth to mix in here, and then we're gonna give it a little taste just to make sure that all of it's good. And then we're going to check our rice, and we're gonna get it all mixed up. All right, I have just some chicken broth made up here. I have about half a cup, so we're gonna see how much we need to use. We're gonna start with about half of that. Now we're down to about a fourth or so. Mix that in. Because that rice is gonna absorb a little bit of this liquid, and just, you know, we don't want it to be too thick. We wanna have a little bit of liquid in there, so we're gonna do just a tiny bit more. I may have had a little over half a cup, to be quite honest with you. Let's see. All right, let's give this cheese sauce a little taste. I've got a spoon here. Let's see. Ooh, it's so hot. I don't want my spoon to fall down in there. It does need a little bit of salt. So we're gonna do just a little bit. And that's it. That is good. So good. All right, let's go ahead and start mixing this together, y'all. Here is our broccoli. I want the main thing to be the broccoli, and so then we will just add however much rice kind of goes with it. Okay, we'll just kind of add accordingly to that part. Y'all see that? That's it. We'll probably, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go ahead and add just the rest of this broth in there. That way we've got some liquid to go on. We're gonna add some cheese and stuff to the top of it, so it will be just fine. All right, let's check our rice. Y'all, I found this little thing, this fork thing the other day, and I thought that, y'all know I love to fluff my rice with a fork, and I thought here is a perfect little deal to do that with. Oh my gosh, look at this, y'all. Y'all see what I'm talking about? This is so light and fluffy. Y'all have got to get you a bag of this. You have got to. Like I said, I got mine. It was just the Walmart brand. But I love it. Y'all see how good that looks? And we're not going to use all this. There's no way. But we're going to put some in. Let's see. I'm thinking that's probably around a cup cooked. Not uncooked. Because we did a cup dry. And you know, it pretty much doubles in size. So, like I said, I want the broccoli to be the main thing here. So, I'm going to do a little bit more. So you just kind of eyeball it, y'all, and you do it kind of however much you want to do. There's really not a certain amount here. I just can't get more than what my pan will hold over here, that's for sure. Let me get that turned off. All right, y'all, I am fixing to just spoon this in our dish here. I can't bring it over here because this burner is on. Let me see. Let me back y'all up and we'll bring it right here. That's what we'll do. Okay. I have a little dish here. I think this is maybe like a 11 by 7 or something, but it's really deep. I love this. I haven't had it long. I got it at Walmart. It comes with a nice little lid. It is perfect for stuff like this. It's gonna be good. And of course you can add chicken to this to make it, to make this a whole meal. But I love a good broccoli and rice cheesy casserole as just a side dish. It's so good. Okay. We are going to put some cheese on top, and we're going to put a little Ritz cracker topping on it also. Okay. Let's see here. Where is my cheese? Hang on just a second. Let me get my other stuff. All right. Now I have just a combination of cheeses here that I need to use up, so that's what's going on here. Now you use whatever kind of cheese you want, whatever kind you have. This is just a mixture. You can see it's like down to the bottom of a lot of cheeses. Oh, here comes somebody else. I have to savor a few little pieces. Just put that over the top. Okay, and then in here I have a couple of tablespoons of butter, and I have just one of the little small packages of the Ritz crackers, which is, what is it, half a sleeve, I think. I love to get it where it's just the little small sleeves. You know, I told y'all that. All right, we're going to put those in. We are going to put in a little bit of breadcrumbs. This little topping is so good, y'all. I mean, just sprinkle some in. I have this little blend mixture here. If you don't have this, you can just put you a little garlic, pepper, salt in there. That's basically what that is. A little bit of parsley. And then mix it up. Where's our little spoon at? Here it is. Get creative with it. Put whatever season you like in there, and it will be so good. And I'm not going to throw this in the oven just yet. We are going to get I tell you what I'm going to do, since I can already tell it has taken me a while to get this video done. Even though I go straight into it, it's just trying to explain everything that I like to tell y'all. It makes it run long. So I tell you what I think I'm gonna do. I'll go ahead and stop it, and just as soon as I get it downloaded, I'll come straight back and we will do our pork chops. We'll put this in the oven, and that way if somebody just wants to see the smothered pork chops or just the casserole, they can do that, okay? And then of course the other thing we're making is macaroni and cheese, which is nothing to really show. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to stop this and just kind of clean up here just for a second. And I promise y'all I will be right back, and we're going to get our smothered pork chops going, and we'll get this thing in the oven, and we'll get to see the outcome of all of it. So if you are watching this and if you're wondering where's the outcome at, it will be on the next video. Okay, I'll see you in a bit.